Neil?
All right, buddy. Thank you very much, Greg Burke. So you don't like today's sell-off? Well, I hate to break it to you. What if I told you we've got at least another 700 points on the Dow to go? I don't have to. My next guest is Todd Schoenberger, and he's been uncannily prescient at this fall-off and at what's at stake. Todd, what do you see happening, and what's worrying you?
Well, look, the sell-off's going to continue, Neil. There's no doubt about it. You can look at everything from the domestic picture as well as the Eurozone right now. And when you start looking at those multinationals, those companies here in the United States that do a lot of business in Europe, those are the ones that are going to take the hit. So right now, this sell-off that occurred today, including on Monday, really has a lot to do with the fears that we have right now in the Eurozone, because it could really impact our earnings potential here in this country.
What do you make of this fear of, as Cheryl touched on, whether real or imagined, another bank meltdown, that big banks are under more duress than they're letting on? How real is that threat?
Catastrophic, and I got to tell you, it is for real. Look, we're talking about a couple of banks, and more importantly, you're also looking at an entire country in France. If you lose that AAA rating there, just imagine what that does to the actual euro. It's going to impact the entire region, and it's going to impact the entire world. You know, we talk about a recession in this country. They obviously are facing dire straits. They are in 2008 mode right now because of what they're experiencing, and then you can only hope that the only region that's out there that can save the world is Asia, and as you know, that's a slowing region as well. So
yeah, but you mentioned something interesting, Todd. Everyone is focused on the U.S. debt downgrade. A big deal, no doubt. But I don't think anyone saw this with France, and France is kind of like, shy of Germany, a linchpin to kind of keeping Europe's act together. And if it's called into question, and by the way, S&P has denied that it is being called into question, but the rumor did the job, got a French president back from vacation, in and of itself a big deal. So it's out there. How realistic is that threat?
Completely agree with all of that, Neil, and it's a realistic threat, because you're right. We were looking at Italy and Spain. Obviously, we've had problems with Greece, and then when you add in France, and then you have to wonder what's going to happen with all of this toxic debt that the nucleus of that entire region, which is Germany, has been taking on. Look, this can be a giant bad cycle, not just for that region, but for the entire world. It obviously can push us even further into that threat of having a double-dip recession in this country, and can clearly impact everything from earnings to employment to really global security. So there's a lot at stake right now.
All right, Todd, thank you very, very much. Todd Schoenberger. I do want to bring people up to date on what happened today and where we stand now to date with these respective markets. You're seeing what's going on globally, but if I can just go back full here, guys, just to let you know, with the Dow drop-offs today, a lot of people say, are we in a correction? Are we in a bear market? Technically, a correction is anything between 10 and 19% off your highs. With the fall off today, the Dow is off about 60% from its highs. So that would warrant what we call a severe correction. The S&P, a broader aggregate of some 500 stocks, is off about 18% from its highs. The NASDAQ, rich in technology issues, is down about 70% from its highs. Remember, 20% constitutes a bear market. It just might be all just a mug's game here in titles and labels, but we're not in a bear market yet. Many issues, many individual stocks are, but in perspective, we are getting close.